If you're a homeowner, I know this thought has crossed your mind. How can I sell my home for top dollar without a realtor? If this is you, then listen up. Because on today's video, I show you how to do just that. I'm Leonardo Evangelista, a New York City tri-state area real estate agent. And my goal is to make your life easier when it comes to real estate. Let's get to it. The very first thing that you'll want to do when selling your home or thinking about it is come up with a price. What is my home really worth and how do I get there? Well, the answer is simple. You have to look at comparable sales. The way homes are sold in the United States is by looking at what other like homes have sold for in your market. This means that if, for example, you own a 3-bed, 2-bath home, 1,500 square foot, whatever it is, you want to look for other homes just like that nearby. That means that you want to look for homes that have sold in the last 3 to 6 months within, ideally, a mile radius of your home. These homes that look like yours, that are similar shape, size, style as yours, that have sold are your direct comparable. This means that if those homes sold for an average of $100,000, then your home will most likely sell for the same. Now, if you find other homes that are perhaps a little bigger than yours or perhaps a little smaller than yours, then you adjust accordingly, either by increasing the price in a way that makes sense or by decreasing the price accordingly. There's lots of ways to do this, and it's more of an art than a science, but there are plenty of resources online to teach you how. If you have questions about comparables and how to calculate it, shoot me a question in the comments and I'll be more than happy to help you. Now, the way this works is that there's many tools that you can use to find comps. If you're just a homeowner and don't have access to the fancy tools that we as realtors do to look at market data, simply going on sites like Zillow, filtering out for sold homes will be just fine. Look for homes that have sold in the last 3 to 6 months nearby. And again, look for homes that are comparable to yours. If you're willing to pay for enterprise tools, perhaps look at something like a PropStream to get more data. Once you look at enough homes and have a decent pool of data, then come up with a price that makes sense. Remember, the key here is to leave emotion out of the equation. This should be purely based on data, and your emotions should not skew the value of your home. The next thing you want to do when planning to sell your home is get a home inspection. Now, I know you may be thinking, doesn't the buyer pay for that? Well, they do. They pay for their inspection. But the purpose of your inspection is to get ahead of any objections that they may have. If you do a home inspection, yes, it will cost you some money up front, but it will save you thousands on the back end because you'll be able to get ahead of any issues or concerns that a home buyer may come across when they do their inspection. Investing a few $100s up front and making these slight corrections not only will elevate a buyer's experience of your home when they come see it, but it'll save you thousands in negotiations down the line. After the inside of your home is taken care of, this one is very important. Do not skimp out on professional services. And what I mean by that is do not skimp out on landscaping, cleaning, and video and photography. First impressions will make or break a deal. When the buyer pulls up to your home, you want them to be astonished by the beautiful landscape. When they walk inside, you want them to be entering a decluttered, clean smelling home. And when they're online looking for what homes to see over the weekend, you want them to be amazed by the photography and video that they see of your listing. Yes, I know we have smartphones and fancy cameras at our disposal, but taking good video and taking good photography is a skill that needs to be developed. And unless you have honed this skill to perfection over the years, don't do it yourself. Buyers today expect and demand more. And spending money upfront to get high quality video and photography and some cool drone shots will help you get more buyers through your door, which will increase your chances of getting a higher price. Now, once you have your price in mind, thanks to comps, once you've done your home inspection and addressed any issues, and once you've locked in your video and photography, do not list yet. Because before you list, you'll want to make sure that you understand and are compliant with all fair housing regulations. For better or worse, we live in a society where people get sued left and right. And if you do not want to get sued or get in trouble for not doing something the right way, you want to make sure that you follow regulations accordingly. There are a bunch of disclosures and forms that you as a seller need to ensure are properly documented and most importantly, share it with prospective buyers. Additionally, you'll want to make sure that your property itself is compliant with building department regulations. That means that permits have been properly opened and closed, and that there are no issues with a CO, the certificate of occupancy for the home. Having CO issues can break a deal. So make sure that you are compliant before you list the home. Now, once you've done all of that, it's time to list the home. The first thing you'll want to do is understand what people in your market are looking for. For example, in most of the tri-state area, Zillow and Realtor.com are excellent choices. But if you're selling in Manhattan, you'll want to use StreetEasy. Making sure that you post your listing on the right websites across multiple websites to ensure that you capture the maximum audience size is key. The more places that you can list your home to catch more eyeballs, the better chances you are of getting a buyer, and the better the offers that you receive due to the higher competition. But here's a little tip. When you list your home, don't show it just yet. You'll want to do an open house. And when you do so, you'll want to limit the first showings to that open house. Here's why. If you limit the first set of showings to your open house, that will create some demand around it. That'll create a sense of scarcity around your listing, and people will be more motivated to go see it. When the day of the open house comes and there's a line out the door of people trying to see the home, you know you've done good. And that sense of scarcity will drive the price up of your house. But here's the deal. Before you get to that though, you'll want to ensure that you understand offer terms and contract terms. That way, when you start to receive offers, you'll know how to negotiate against them accordingly. You don't want to receive multiple offers and then not understand what they mean by certain things that they throw in there. So after you list the home and before the open house, make sure that you review contract terms. Make sure that they review offer terms and that you are familiar with the strategies that are used in today's marketplace to effectively negotiate a better deal for yourself. And while we're on the topic of negotiating, here's a key tip. This is something that I've learned and practiced myself as a negotiator, and that is that you do not want to be the one negotiating for yourself. When negotiating for yourself, no matter how good you are, emotions may get the better of you. Judgment will leave the door, and things that would otherwise not offend you, let's say, may hit hard. Get help from a relative, a friend, a family member, whoever it is. Have them be the ones to show the home. Have them be the ones to speak to buyers and realtors that may come to show the home, and have them be the ones to receive offers. You do not want to be involved in any of that. And the reason why I say this is because buyers that may show your home may not like certain things about it, and they may talk down about your home in certain cases, not because trying to be mean, but because everybody has their own opinions. When this happens and you're negotiating for yourself, you may get emotional, and this will impact how effective you are. Having a third-party member act as a shield, as a buffer to all of that, will ensure that you're able to take all this information from a safe place, that you'll be able to analyze the offers and questions that come your way at your own time, at your own pace, under your own terms. And by doing so, will empower you to be able to respond in a more logical and meaningful way. Doing this will elevate your ability to effectively negotiate by, again, not doing it directly, but doing it through a third party. This is something that I myself practice many times. Whenever I buy a property, even though I'm a broker, I do not buy it myself. I hire somebody else to do this for me. Trust me, you'll want to do this. Moving on, one important thing to keep in mind as you're showing the home is that you want to make sure that you are receiving feedback from everybody that has seen your house. This means asking questions, asking them for their opinion. What do they think of the home? What do they think of the price? What do they think of the neighborhood? What do they think in general? The more feedback you can collect, the better you can position yourself to adjust accordingly. Remember, you have to be flexible in certain cases to sell your home. If it doesn't sell within the first week or two, ask yourself, what's wrong? But most importantly, ask others what's wrong. Feedback will let you adjust accordingly, and it will let you reposition yourself in a way to better align your intentions of selling with the market and be able to sell faster. Homes that sit on the market for over 30, 60, 90 days is because they lack feedback and because they lack the ability to adjust accordingly. Don't be that listing. The longer you sit on the market with a home because you do not collect feedback and because you do not adjust accordingly, the lower your ultimate selling price will be. Think about it, and you've seen this. Homes that sit on the market for, say, 100 days What do you think initially? Something must be wrong with the house, right? The house can be beautiful, can be perfect, but if it sits for that long, you automatically think that something's wrong with the home. So don't be that home. You will eventually get an offer and you will accept that offer. And when you do, you want to make sure that you have an attorney lined up to support you in that transaction. And by that, I mean not just any attorney. You want to make sure that you are interviewing and selecting a real estate attorney, somebody that does this on a day-to-day basis. Not a litigator, not a DA, a real estate attorney. Trust me, there's a big difference. Just like you wouldn't hire a surgeon to do, pediatrics, or you wouldn't hire, I don't know, some internal doctor to do dentistry, you wouldn't hire a non-real estate attorney to represent you in a transaction. This is very important. I cannot stress this enough. Attorneys will make or break the deal. And I see many deals just come apart because the attorney did not know what they were doing. Make sure that your attorney is aligned with expectations. Make sure your attorney knows real estate contracts. Make sure that your attorney has done this multiple times and that they are familiar with custom practices. Yes, there's the law of real estate, but then there's the common practices of real estate. And you want somebody that is well versed in both. Remember, your attorney will charge you money whether or not the deal closes. So you want to make sure that it closes so that you don't have to spend extra money if you don't have to. Your attorney will take the offer that you received and they will package it into what is most commonly known as a standard contract, in which they will provide amendments and riders to adjust accordingly. In those riders, you'll want to make sure that your intentions are very clear, especially if you need to move somewhere else. If you need to find a home or buy your own home, you want to make sure that that contract stipulates that the sale of your house is contingent upon you finding your own. Don't get to a point where you haven't found a home and you have to sell. Remember, you are entering into a legally binding contract and you don't want to get sued. If you need something to be clear, if you need certain things to happen before you can sell the home, make sure that that is spelled out in the contract and be very specific. Lastly, when you're selling your home, you'll want to understand taxes. What are the tax implications of selling your home? If you've lived there for a number of years, if you've rented it for a number of years, if you've done something else with it, there's different tax implications depending on your use of that home, how long you've owned it, and what you've done with it. So before you sell, make sure to consult a tax professional to understand what taxes you may be on the hook for. There's so much that goes behind the scenes when selling a home, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. I know you may have questions or something was unclear. Please leave me a note in the comments. And if there's any other topic that you want me to cover, just let me know. And while you're at it, if you found value in this video, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. And that's it, guys. Until next time, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.